Part 5. This is the end of the chapter and the beginning of the life you've been drafting in secret. If you've done the work in the previous parts, naming the fear, unmasking it, collecting proof, routing the energy, building micro-habits, you're not supposed to feel perfectly calm now. You're supposed to feel stronger, clearer, and slightly uncomfortable in the best way. That discomfort is the pulse of change. It means you are alive to possibility. Freedom beyond fear is not a place you suddenly arrive at and retire. It's a way you live. It looks like a steady commitment to what matters, not a burst of heroism that exhausts you into the same old patterns. Real freedom is the ability to choose based on values and not on alarm signals. It's the quiet, daily insistence that you will try, repair, and iterate again and again. When fear is no longer the CEO of your decisions, life rearranges itself around curiosity, courage, and coherence. Start by building a life architecture that makes courage habitual. Surroundings matter. Who you trust, what you consume, how your day is organized, these create scaffolding for action. If your feed, friends, and habits reward smallness, you will grow small. If your circle praises stretch, curiosity, and honest feedback, you will grow wide. Design 3 structural changes this week. One that changes your environment, one that changes your schedule, one that changes your social input. Move your devices out of your bedroom. Block time for uncomfortable work. Find one person who will ask the hard question and keep asking it. These are practical levers. They change behavior by changing context. Keep practicing repair. You will falter. When you do, have a protocol. A short, kind debrief with yourself, one concrete note of what you would change, and the next small step logged. Repair is not excusing mediocrity, it's refusing annihilation by mistake. The more you rehearse recovery, the more bold your attempts become. You keep trying because you know you can fix course, and fixing course is often where the true learning happens. Honor the slow work. Culture sells thrill as progress and calls it success. Real success is built in hours of mild discomfort, in the accumulation of imperfect attempts. Napoleon Hill and others spoke to the imagination's rule over results. Use that rule, but pair it with grind. Imagine the outcome vividly, and then schedule the tiny, imperfect steps that will get you there. The combination of vision and relentless micro-action is where lives are remade. Level up your language. The words you use about your life are the operating system. Replace conditional talk with declarative verbs. I will try moves to I will do this next. I might becomes I will test. Replace passive phrasing with ownership. This is not about toxic positivity, it's about clarity. The brain is a predictive machine that needs clear input. Ambiguous, fearful sentences produce fuzzy results. Crisp language produces decisive actions. You must keep building identity through small acts. Identity is not declared, it's produced by repetition. Say you want to be a person who speaks up for your ideas. For 2 weeks, speak one idea in a meeting, one social setting, one online thread, small acts that accumulate into an identity. Want to be someone who ships work? Commit to finishing one tiny product each month. Identity follows action, not the other way around. If you want influence, practice generosity. One of the most effective ways to reduce fear of rejection is to make the interaction about others. Give feedback before you ask for feedback. Offer help before you ask for help. When you lead with generosity, your fear of being judged lessens because you're not asking the world to validate you, you're contributing. Dale Carnegie taught the power of sincere interest in others. Use it as a tactical shield and an amplifier. The more you focus outward, the less tyrannical your self-critique becomes. Don't neglect the economic muscle of fear work. Financial buffers, small savings, and contingency plans remove the catastrophic framing that feeds paralysis. If your nervous system keeps imagining ruin, give it a real repair plan, an emergency fund, a fallback client, an interim strategy. That isn't cowardice, it's smart engineering. When downside is managed, upside becomes easier to pursue. Cultivate mentors and models. You don't need permission to learn from someone who has walked the path. Study their moves, not just their outcomes. How did they react to criticism? How did they rebalance after failure? Copy their micro behaviors and then adapt them to your context. Rare mentions like Hill, Carnegie, Nightingale are pointers to methods, not gospel. Take what calibrates, discard what flatlines you. The point is method, not worship. Make a practice of gratitude for difficulty. Sounds odd, but gratitude lubricates resilience. When you're grateful for the lessons that friction brings, it becomes easier to welcome small setbacks as data. Say it plainly. Thank you for this test, I will learn. That sentence does not erase pain, but it reframes it into training. Over time, your nervous system starts to prefer stress with meaning over comfort with stagnation. Remember to measure progress differently. Success metrics that depend only on outcomes will keep you trapped in fear because outcomes are volatile. Measure the inputs: days you showed up, experiments you ran, conversations initiated. Inputs are controllable, outcomes are not. When inputs are consistent, outcomes become predictable. Track the numbers that matter and celebrate them. Community is your amplifier. Share your micro commitments with the people who want you to grow. Accountability doesn't need spectacle, it needs honesty. A private witness who knows your aims and will ask for your update is gold. At the same time, limit the audience to people aligned with growth. Not everyone deserves a veto on your courage. As you build this life, you'll notice a quieter internal life. Fear will still whisper, but it will lack convincing proof. The old narratives that once ruled you will seem like acquaintances you occasionally entertain, not house guests who control the kitchen. That's progress. Also know this: new fears will appear. Growth invites new thresholds. Meet them with the same toolkit. Name, small exposure, evidence ledger, repair plan, repeat. Your process is flexible. Your commitment is not. Here's a practice for the next month. Choose one big direction and break it into 30 daily micro actions. Each day, log what you did and one tiny lesson. At the end of the month, review the ledger. You will be shocked by how far you moved. This is not magic, it's compounding courage. Now the final blunt question for you, the one that separates thinking from doing. If fear disappeared tonight, what would you start next? Don't answer in generalities. Name one project, one conversation, one decision. Write it down. Then name the first 5-minute action you will take in the next 48 hours to begin that project. Post it in the comments below. Be specific. Be brutal. Honesty is the hinge that opens the door. One more thing before I go. You do this work not because the world demands it, but because your future self deserves it. The small acts you take now will compound into a life with fewer regrets and more agency. That is a debt you pay to the person you will become. Write in the comments, what will you start if fear were gone tonight? And what is your 5-minute move in the next 48 hours? Tell us the fear you're reclaiming and the exact action you'll take. Be specific, be public, and then do it. If this series moved you, leave a comment and let me know which part cut the deepest. If you want more training like this, frameworks, micro exercises, scripts to use in real conversations, say which area you want next, and I'll give you practical drills. Subscribe and hit like if you found value. It helps more people find the work and builds the community we all need.